A whispering moment that melts Outlander fans' hearts. This is our home. The afternoon breeze swept through the valley, carrying the scent of damp grass and the smoke from the distant fireplace. The setting sun cast a soft yellow hue over Fraser's ridge, not dazzling, not ostentatious, but warm enough to make anyone standing there slow down. Claire Fraser stood before the log cabin, her hand resting on the rough door frame, silently taking a deep breath. She had stood in many places in her life. On battlefields reeking of gunpowder. In brightly lit operating rooms. On the cold, cobblestone streets of the 18th century, where time seemed to never stand still. But this moment of silence, made her heart beat in a different rhythm. Jamie stood behind her. Without turning around, Claire knew. She always knew. His presence was unobtrusive, requiring no warning. It was like a familiar warmth spreading down her spine, a feeling she had learned to recognize, even with her eyes closed. They had been through too much to stand here. Separations with no promise of reunion. Years of silent, painful loss. Battles not only against enemies, but against fate, time, and their own deepest fears. And now, in what seemed like the most ordinary moment, a peaceful afternoon, an unfinished log cabin, everything suddenly felt complete. Claire turned, her eyes meeting Jamie's. He didn't laugh loudly, he said nothing. He just looked at her, as he always did, as if the world could crumble around them, but she remained their only anchor. "What are you thinking about?" Jamie asked, his voice low and soft, as if afraid to shatter something fragile hanging between them. Claire shook her head. "I'm not sure anymore. It's just, I never thought I'd feel this way. So peaceful." Jamie took a step closer, close enough for Claire to feel his breath mingle with her own. He looked around the house, the bare walls, the scratches of manual labor, the marks of time and effort. "Me too," he said. "After everything that's been through, I used to think peace was just luxury." Claire chuckled softly, a laugh without tears, without sarcasm, only acknowledgement. "Maybe it's because we're used to fighting. So when we don't have to fight anymore, it's frightening." Jamie didn't answer immediately. He reached out and touched Claire's arm, his fingers rough from years of labor, but his gesture strangely gentle. He looked at her for a long time, as if considering each word. "Claire," he said slowly, "I used to think home was a place. A piece of land, a roof, something that could protect us from the rain and wind. But I was wrong." She looked up, her eyes expectant. Jamie leaned in, his forehead lightly touching hers. There was no kiss at that moment. Just a closeness that rendered all words superfluous. And then, in a voice so low it was almost a breath, he whispered. "This is our home." No background music, no climax, just 6 words, small, simple, but they fell between them like a vow that needed no witness. Claire felt her heart tighten, then open. Images flashed through her mind like final pieces finding their place. The long nights she thought she had lost him forever. The moments she stood between two worlds, belonging to neither. There were times she wondered if love was strong enough to withstand the test of time. And now, the answer was right before her eyes. "Home," Claire repeated softly, as if savoring the word. "Not a place to come, but a place to stay." Jamie smiled, a very gentle, very genuine smile. "And a place where we choose each other, every day." They stood there for a long time, without saying anything more. The sunset faded, giving way to the deep purple of evening. An oil lamp was lit inside the house, its warm yellow light shining through the window, casting 2 shadows on the ground. If anyone had seen that moment, they might not have understood why it was so important. There was no tragedy, no loud promises. But it was that very simplicity that stirred the viewer's heart. Because Outlander was never just a story about time travel or fierce battles. It was a story about finding a place to belong, not on a map, but in another person. Rumors about that scene spread quickly among the fan community. No trailer needed, no advertising campaign. Just a whispered snippet passed from hand to hand. Those who had followed Jamie and Claire for years understood immediately. This wasn't just a line of dialogue. It was the culmination of all their losses, perseverance, and choices. On social media, fans wrote, "I cried not because I was sad, but because they were finally home." 6 words, and my heart broke open. That whisper felt like coming home, for them and for us. Perhaps it's because each of us is searching for something similar. A place that doesn't demand strength. A place that doesn't need explanation. A place where a whisper is enough to understand. Claire rested her head on Jamie's shoulder, feeling his heartbeat, slow, steady. "Are you scared?" she asked softly. Jamie thought for a moment. "Yes, but I am no longer afraid of being lost." She smiled, closing her eyes. In that moment, all timelines seemed to overlap. Past, present, future, all converging at a single point. They, standing side by side, chose to stay. The oil lamp flickered gently in the breeze, a reminder that light doesn't need to be dazzling to exist. Sometimes it just needs to be warm enough to guide. And when Jamie whispered again, just to be sure, just to make it clear, "This is our home." Not just Claire heard it. The entire Outlander fandom heard it. And they cried. Not out of heartbreak, but out of happiness.